Does anybody remember Age of War? As a kid in the 2000s, I'm telling you, this game defined a generation. Sure, we had Club Penguin, Farmville, The Impossible Quiz, but I think Age of War was different. There was something about that game that made it feel a lot bigger than it was. You started off in the Stone Ages, then you made your way through the Medieval Ages, then the Renaissance, Modern, and finally the Future Age. I felt that this simple game gave us our first exposure to what humans actually went through in the past couple thousand years. And I thought that was something worth talking about. Was it accurate? No, not even close. But for the first time, me, and I'm willing to bet many of you, saw human history as a timeline, just through this little flash game. So I thought it would be fun to make this video breaking down each of those ages of war. Get it? Here's the plan. First we'll look at what defined the age, like the main tech, environment, how people lived. Then we'll look at how humans fought, in-game and in real life. And lastly, how we shifted into the next stage. And before you type in your angry comments, yes, I am well aware that this game is wildly inaccurate. We'll be skipping a lot of important eras like the Bronze and Iron Ages and classical antiquity, but the game skipped it, so I will too. The Stone Ages, the dawn of humanity, a time of sticks and rocks and... Life was pretty simple in the Stone Ages. Humans were hunter-gatherers and built small tribes to survive. Tools were made out of stone, wood, and bone, and when fire was controlled, it was a game changer. As a species, we spent over 95% of our existence in the Stone Ages. So yeah, simple. But was it easy? No. Every day was a battle with nature. Who is that tribe? What is that animal? Will that berry poison me? Hey, that looks like a cute cat. Except it isn't, and now you've lost an arm. And of course, surviving meant fighting. Sometimes another tribe, sometimes a wild animal, sometimes a dinosaur, apparently. Can we talk about that for a second? Humans and dinosaurs never met. Never. Wild inaccuracy. Anyways, in real life, humans didn't just fight with clubs and slingshots. If you look really closely at the dino riders, they had spears, which were actually used as weapons then too. But what pushed us forward? 4,000 XP? What does that even mean? If that means inventions and cooperation, then yes. Fire, better tools, organized hunting, and later agriculture changed everything. Around 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, metal smelting began, and the Stone Ages faded, at least in some regions. When tools, societies, and conflicts grew too complex for small tribes and early villages, humans eventually found itself in a new era, one shaped by kingdoms, religion, and a lot of questionable hygiene practices. I don't think I've seen an era more romanticized than the medieval times. Castles, knights in shining armor, epic jousts, King Arthur, put that in the bin. We've got zero heating, hunger, and the plague. And worst of all, taxes. The medieval age lasted from about 500 to 1500. It began with the fall of the Roman Empire. Yes, we did skip that. And ended again through cultural and technological advancements. And the plague. But hey, in the game, and in real life, we got upgraded from clubs to swords, from slingshots to crossbows, and from dinosaurs to horses. Upgrade? Maybe. So let's talk about fighting. In Age of War, your swordsmen, archers, and knights charge headfirst into enemy lines. In real life, it was sort of like that. Most soldiers fought with swords, maces, and axes, while archers rained arrows from afar. So, that Age of War special attack, the one where they showered the field with arrows from the sky, surprisingly accurate. But you know what wasn't as accurate? That armor. 50 plus pounds. Fighting the enemy and the armor at the same time? Man, the guys in Age of War are absolute units. In the game, the turrets were surprisingly realistic too. Catapults and trebuchets? They were essential weapons in the medieval times. They could wipe out walls and entire villages if they really wanted to. They could hurl 300 plus pounds of stone over 300 meters. That's almost the size of your mom. So how did we get to the Renaissance age? Well, believe it or not, inventions and cooperations. Wow, just like the Stone Ages. There are also a few key events that happened that may or may not have some play in ending the medieval ages. First, there's the fall of Constantinople in 1453 that left Europe kind of fragmented and chaotic. And the plague that happened between 1346 to 1353, which wiped out almost half of Europe's population at the time. These disasters shattered the old world, but they also forced Europe to rebuild. And that rebuilding sparked new ideas. You know, as a kid, I honestly had no idea what this age was called. Nothing about the Renaissance tells your 9-year-old brain that it stands for art, science, and rebirth. And when I eventually found out, I already passed my Flash games era. But everything changed when I played this game. Oh, you thought I meant this game? No. I meant this game. The Renaissance is often called the rebirth of humanity, but it was really a rebirth of curiosity. At least for the people who had the time, money, and freedom to explore it. Instead of asking, how do I survive? Some people finally got to ask, how does this world actually work? And even though Assassin's Creed doesn't show history exactly as it was, it shows what the Renaissance felt like it could have been. And that's what made it stick with me, even now as a 20-something-year-old over a decade since playing these games. Wow, I'm old. In Age of War, we have a dueler, a musketeer, and a cannoneer. And yeah, the Renaissance armies did use a lot of these traditional weapons, like rapiers, daggers, and pikes, but the real turning point wasn't the blade, it was the gun. Muskets and cannons completely changed warfare. Battles were decided with who had the better weapons, better formations, and better funding. And quick reality check, people did not run around carrying cannons like they do in the game. Those things weighed thousands of pounds and had full crews, horses, and wagons just to move them. And we couldn't heal people on command like the special in the game, just pointing that out there. But again, once technology decides who wins wars, well, that changed everything. Because from that point on, progress started to accelerate way faster than people can keep up with. So how did we get from the Renaissance to today? Well, the age of exploration, sailing, exploring, trading, spice addiction, America. The scientific revolution, telescopes, apples, planets, maths, lots of maths. The age of enlightenment. What if humanity was meant for more? What if people could finally choose their own path, shape their own future, be free? What if the Industrial Revolution, smoke, machines, child labor, and now, here we are, today's age, the age of information, or the contemporary era. People also argue that we're in the beginning of the age of AI. I don't really think I need to go over how people live in today's age, since we're already living in it. Or maybe I do, cause why not? Technology has really brought us a long way. It's insane how far we've come. I mean, imagine someone from the Stone, Medieval, or Renaissance ages seeing how we live today. Could they even comprehend that we carry all of human knowledge in the palm of our hands? That we can talk instantly across the world, watch a live rocket launch from our couch, or see pictures of places we'll probably never visit. And yet for all this progress, humans still fight. We've replaced swords and catapults with rifles, tanks, and cyber warfare, but the pattern remains the same. Tools change, landscapes change, technologies change, but people still find a way to fight. If Age of War taught me anything, it's that humans will always fight. The melee infantry, the infantry, and the tank, surprisingly accurate in Age of War. Turrets and rocket launchers too. They reflect modern defenses, and the airstrike special as well isn't too far off either. The guy with the combat knife though, yeah, maybe it's not a great idea to go that close and personal with your opponent. Humans always figure out new ways to fight. Sometimes smart, sometimes insane, and somehow we just keep moving forward. The future asks an even bigger question. What comes next? And what does that mean for us? In Age of War, we got God's Blade, the Blaster, War Machine, and the Super Soldier. Turrets shoot lasers, and special attacks call down energy beams from satellites. It's pretty wild. Definitely inspired by all kinds of sci-fi. Maybe some Star Wars. But was it realistic? I mean, like, how could we know? Maybe it's not just fantasy. One version of the future could look like this. Humans merging with machines. Wars fought with energy instead of bullets, and technology shaping life in ways we can barely imagine. But it could also go in another direction completely. Back in the 1900s, people were predicting the future. But who could have predicted the internet? Every era of human progress has been driven by our inventions, our ingenuity, and our conflicts. The future is just the next chapter of that story. It probably won't be as dramatic as the game. But the question remains, how do we use our tools responsibly? How do we survive and thrive when our creations are more powerful than anything we've ever faced before? The future age in Age of War is wild, exaggerated, but you can also see it like a mirror. Every choice, every invention, every conflict now could shape generations. And somewhere along the way, this little flash game in the 2000s captured it all.